between the Vikings and the Kenmore Cardinals. We talked about the excitement in the air, but I don't think that excitement could be touched by what we feel tonight with this big rivalry.
Oh, definitely, you're right, Denny. Last week was the home opener for North Canton, but this is another opener. It's the Federal League opener, and of course, every team in the league is striving to win the championship. That's why it is an important contest. But it's important because these two teams battled each other right down to the wire last year for the Federal League championship. It's not going to happen this year because they meet right at the beginning of the season, so it remains to be seen exactly what's going to happen tonight.
Absolutely. With us again tonight, Don Hertler. Don is providing some color for us, and he, as you well know, is a former coach of the Vikings. How do you feel at this game, this big game?
Well, Denny, I don't think there's any question. This is one of the real traditional long-time rivals meeting tonight early in the season. This is very different from usual. Usually it's an 8th, 9th, or 10th ball game, or 8th or 9th ball game. And in most years, in recent years, this has been the game that has decided the championship of the Federal League for it, or the championship outright. And I'm sure if the coaches had their choice, they would prefer to have the game later in the season. But this is the way it is. I think it's in one condition, it's very good time to have the ball game because the weather is great out here tonight, especially for the spectators. You're going to have a great crowd, probably a full house, which is very traditional for this ball game. Oftentimes, I have seen them here and at Louisville standing 6 and 7 deep. But with more seating here in recent years, you may not have them standing, but you're going to have certainly a full house tonight.
Okay, Don, we'll be back with you in just a minute. Also with us tonight, Chris Popa. Chris Popa will be on the sideline for updates during the game and injury reports. I hope there are no injuries, but if they are, we'll have Chris there. Chris, are you ready for this big game?
Denny, we're all set. We've got our contacts with the teams ready to bring the people the information. And like you gentlemen have said, everybody that you talk to is ready for would it be a knock 'em down, drag 'em out football game, a real good game tonight.
Okay, Chris, thank you. And as Chris said a moment ago, Chris Jadek, when we talk about Chris and Chris, we said a moment ago that last year we covered the contest between these two teams. We're going to show you some highlights from that game and some highlights from last week's game in just a moment. But first, this message.
Hi, Jim Bush from Alkaline Water Company. Say when it comes to water treatment, soft water, iron filters, reverse osmosis water, why don't you call us? We have rental rates from as low as $8.99 a month, fully automatics from as low as $299. Even reconditioned units guaranteed. Jim Bushman's Alkaline Water Company. We're at 3200 Cleveland Avenue North. You can get us by calling 456-0008.
El Ponchos at Union and Main in Alliance and Don Ponchos on 241 in Greensburg bring the unparalleled flavor and dining atmosphere of Mexico to you. At El Ponchos and at Don Ponchos, you'll find a friendly staff and a menu that will tempt your taste buds and yet take it easy on your pocketbook. Choose from tacos, enchiladas, burritos, tamales, frijoles, combination dinners, and more, prepared to perfection. Don Poncho's restaurant on 241 in Greensburg and El Poncho's at Main and Union in Alliance. The last time North Canton and Louisville met on the football field, the game was played in Louisville. It was a clear autumn night, October 30th, 1981. The contest between these two teams has always been an intense rivalry. It was the next to the last game of the season, and the Federal League Championship was on the line. Louisville senior running back Bill Stowall led the Louisville ground attack. Junior Steve Berkwin, number 12, played both ways in that game and seemed to cover the entire field with quick, slick moves, sure hands, and an intense desire to win. Senior quarterback Pat Carboll made cool look easy, and the Leopards won that game 28-13. But that was last year. Carboll is gone, Stowall is gone, and North Canton appears to have their act together. They have number 14, Mark Reefer, and they have a man who plays like a man of steel on a field with a magnetic end zone. Number 43, Jerry LaFont, last week against Akron Kenmore. LaFont scored 4 times for the Vikings, and one of those scores was called back because of a holding penalty. However, 3 scores did remain on the scoreboard for LaFont as the Vikings rolled over the Cardinals of Kenmore. Also last week, the Leopards trounced their opponents, the Minerva Lions, This, however, is the first league game for both of these teams, and it promises to be a great one.
It certainly is a new season, and it certainly is the first Federal League meeting for either of these teams tonight. And it might very well be the biggest game of the season for Louisville and the biggest game for North Canton as well, because it could decide the Federal League championship. Before tonight's game, our Denny Hazen had a chance to speak with the second-year head coach of the North Canton Vikings, Ed Glass.
Ed, this game is usually considered one of the biggest games of the year between North Canton and Louisville. Comes a little early this year. Is that an advantage or a disadvantage?
Well, I think it's really a disadvantage for both clubs because we haven't had the chance to work that long on our offenses and defenses, and here we are in possibly the biggest ball game of the year for both clubs, and I'm not too sure that it should be played this early.
Ed, I know you're real busy. I appreciate you taking time to talk with us before the ball game. Thanks for coming and good luck.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Denny, and thank you, Coach Glass. Paul Starkey is the dean of coaches in the Federal League now that Don Hertler has retired. This year, he brings a defending Federal League team with him into North Canton. We didn't see them last week against Minerva, so our Denny Hazen spoke with Coach Starkey before the game to see how that contest and the season look for Louisville.
Paul, last week you had a real good game against Minerva. We didn't get a chance to see that. What was your strength?
Well, I think we played a team that really wasn't that great, being truthful about it. Minerva was not that strong, but really we did a fine job. We offensively, we moved the ball pretty much at will, and we scored 28 points the first half. But defensively, we shut them down, and our defense, as it appears on paper, should be the strong part. But we have some spots in our defense that we're not real pleased with, that we're working on trying to improve. But hopefully the defense, the quickness of our defense is maybe the strong part of our football game at this time.
Okay, Paul, I know you're very busy. The game's about ready to start, but appreciate your taking time to talk to us, and good luck.
Thank you very much, Dan.
Thank you, Denny, and thank you, Coach Starkey. Don, you've been through these big battles before. What often is the deciding factor in a contest as important as this one is tonight?
Well, the deciding factor usually the team who makes the fewest mistakes and the team that gets the breaks or makes the breaks oftentimes is the victor in this ball game. Now, there's no doubt, Chris, that this is the #1 game of importance on both the Louisville Leopards schedule and also the North Canton Hoover Vikings schedule. This is the #1 game. They both know that. It's no secret to anyone. But the thing that makes this rivalry such a great one is it's always a good, clean, hard-hitting ball game. And both teams come out with that in mind. The relationships between Louisville and North Canton, the relationship is very excellent, and the people have a good relationship along with it. And I think that the fact that the two communities, and you have a community, I think that's an important factor, too, in the strength of teams. The community at Louisville and of North Canton always is 100% behind the football team in both communities. And but the breaks and mistakes will be the factors.
Okay, thank you, Coach. Chris, I know the players are ready to hustle tonight. Are you ready to hustle back and forth between the benches?
I'm all set to go on whatever sideline it takes to bring the information to our viewers. And in fact, we've got the handheld cameras, down there. Dan Demian is going to be working the handheld cameras, so he'll bring the shots right into your living room.
Okay, thank you, Chris. We'll be going up to the press box. Chris will be going out to the sidelines with the handheld camera. We'll be back with all of tonight's action and more when we continue right after this.
Hi, Jim Bush from Alkaline Water Company, having a drink of reverse osmosis water, just like distilled water. We have the under sink type here, which will give you a third faucet up here and give you the total dissolved solids removed from the water with viruses and bacteria, sodium, fluoride, you name it. Or we have the sink top model from $139 on up. So find out more about Jim Bushman's Alkaline Water Company by stopping at 3200 Cleveland Avenue North or call 456-0008.
El Pancho's Restaurant in Alliance and Don Pancho's Restaurant in Greensburg are the places to go for authentic Mexican dining. Because you see, both Don Pancho's and El Pancho's are locally owned and operated, and here the staff really cares about you and your business. They want you to come back again and again so you can be sure that the food is prepared to perfection and the service is unparalleled. El Pancho's and Don Pancho's, the names to remember in fine Mexican dining.
Tom Lavery is where it's at.
There are mobs and mobs of people in this stadium tonight cheering on their respective teams. We're not going to wait any longer. We're going to go right up to the press box with Denny Hazen.
Thank you, Chris Popa. And welcome to Hoover Memorial Stadium in North Canton. As you can see, the band now coming off the field. We've just had both the national anthem and the alma mater from the North Canton Hoover Vikings home team here tonight. A great deal of excitement in the air, and we are ready. Both teams about to come onto the field at this point right now. Cheerleaders on both sides of the squad holding their banners out. The quarterback, number 39, John Hackaway, and safety, number 23, Paul Farrar.
There you see the Louisville Leopards. They'll be wearing white tonight. The home team, North Canton Hoover Vikings, they'll be in the darker orange uniforms.
Right now we'll take a look at the starting lineup offensively and defensively for both teams. We'll look first at the starting lineup for the home team, North Canton Hoover Vikings. Offensively, number 11, Paul Jeremiah, wide receiver. Number 12, Dan Dogmanovich, wide receiver. Number 14, the quarterback, Mark Reefer. What a fine job he did last week. Number 20, Chris Sherlock. Number 21, John Sugel. And number 41, Greg Fouts. Number 43, Jerry LaFrance. He was the man who ran like an iron curtain last week. Number 51, Dennis Vicarelli. 52, Jeff Doppler. Number 53, Mark Howder. Number 57, Ron Bagel. And number 71, John Cohn. Offensively for the visiting Louisville Leopards. Number 11, Brian Matty, a quarterback. Number 12, Steve Berkman. Number 20, Mike Tesh. Number 22, Rick Minster, wide receiver. We saw Rick Minster wearing that same number in a basketball uniform last year. Number 23, Paul Farah. Number 42, Gene Greminger. Number 52, Van Eric Christie. Number 60, Bruce Hunt. Number 62, Greg Koth. Number 76, Gary Donalak. Number 77, Mitch Hostetler. And number 84, Steve Libertor.
We're about ready for the kickoff. You may have noticed 12 names on those starting lineups. That, of course, is because the coaches will be shuttling players in and out with plays and instructions throughout the game. About ready for the kickoff now. North Canton will be kicking to the visiting Louisville Leopards. Teeing it up, Andy Logan, number 23. A lot of football tradition behind him. You saw our telecast last week. You heard Don Hertler tell about the Logan family and their accomplishments in football. I'm sure we'll hear a lot more from Don tonight. And here comes the opening kick as this game gets underway. Paul Farah gets the ball. Break through the middle. He's got one man to beat. Andy Logan gets a hand on him. Finally, he's dragged down. In on the tackle, number 82, Chuck Perry.
And so the Louisville Leopards will take to the field offensively.
And they're in good field position. Well, if Andy Logan didn't make a clean tackle on that, but if he didn't slow that man down, it would have been a quick 6 points for the Louisville Leopards. They start off in excellent field position about the 42. We see a flag all of a sudden. Looks like offsides or an illegal procedure early.
Let's take a quick look at the offensive set for the Louisville Leopards.
It will be offsides. It's going against Louisville. Last year, I remember, Denny, when we did this game at Louisville, there were a lot of penalties in that contest as well.
There offensively, see Brian Matty, Steve Berkman. And there you see them up close.
So it'll be 1st and 15 for Louisville. They'll try to get going again. Paul Farah on an excellent return of the kickoff. 5-yard penalty sets them back, son. So now they have something to gain up. They're trying to run up the middle. Doesn't get much. Maybe 2 on that play. Greminger, number 42, carrying that ball. We expect to see a lot of action from him. The ball resting at the 45-yard line of North Canton. Louisville in excellent field position, but they've got a 2nd and 13. Offsides penalty has pushed them back slightly. Quarterback Brian Matty sets him down. Matty's looking to pass, puts it up long. He's got Liberator out there, and it's intercepted. Dokmanovich in on the interception. So Brian Matty's first pass and the first pass of the night for either side is intercepted by Dan Dokmanovich.
Let's take a look offensively at the North Canton Vikings.
They call the ball at the 18-yard line. That's where we'll put it in play. Mark Reefer is the quarterback. Jerry LaFont, John Zuckel in the backfield for North Canton. Handoff goes to LaFont. Gets a few out across the 20-yard line. Looks like a gain of about 3 or 4 on the play. Mike Case, number 33, and on the tackle for Louisville.
Well, let's try defensively for the Leopards after this play.
Dokmanovich on that one, number 12. Good play for the Vikings. That will give them the first down of the night.
First down for the Vikings on the 30.
So North Canton starting to roll now. They've got a first down. Handoff goes to Zuckel. Zuckel's not going to get much on that one. He'll be lucky to have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Don, you know a lot about North Canton, obviously, since you coached there for a number of years. What do you think they'll try to do early in a contest as big as this one?
Well, I think, Chris, that they're going to mix things up. You saw the throw on 2nd down there. They may come back and throw again here, but I'm sure they're going to try to establish something, see what is good against this particular defense.
Don Hurtler, of course, many years the mentor. John Zuckel on that carry. A little more success on this play, but still not a lot of yardage. 2 or 3 yards on the carry. I was mentioning before Don Hurtler, long the coach here in North Canton.
Okay, defensively for the Louisville Leopards, number 12, Steve Berkwin. Number 16, John Rodak. Number 20, Mike Tesh. 23, Paul Fair, Mike Case, and John Packley.
Third down situation for North Canton. Reefer's going to pass. Puts it up long. Overshoots his intended receiver, and it's picked off by Berkwin. Steve Berkwin on the interception. So we've played less than 4 minutes here. Each team already has an interception. Louisville takes over on that third down interception. They're going to spot it at the 40-yard line of North Canton. So far, it's early. Neither team been able to establish an offensive pattern. Louisville has good position, but they have a long way to go before they can score. The pitch was going to Greminger, but a flag on the play stops the action. Looks like it's going against Louisville. North Canton players seem to agree with that.
First and 15.
Illegal motion penalty will set it back another 5, and Louisville once again in trouble.
Defensively for the North Canton Hoover Vikings, Scott Powell, Dan Dokmanovich, John Zuckel, Ron Feller, Rick Geckler, and Mark Thorville will catch the rest of that after this play.
Brian Matty, the junior quarterback, hands off to Greminger, second man through, draw play. Gets a couple, but it's not really successful. Chris Chips in on the tackle for North Canton.
And the rest of the defense for the Vikings, Doug Thurman, Sean Zimmerman, John Stroia, Rich Rhodes, Steve Swinehart, and Chris Chips.
It will be 2nd down and 13. The ball resting in North Canton's 43-yard line. Louisville has had good possession early on, but as of yet, they have yet to do anything with it. Matty still at quarterback. This time he gives off to number 20. That is Mike Tesh. Tesh gets a couple, but Louisville needs more than that, so it's going to force a third down situation. And Chris Chips chalks up another tackle for the Vikings.
Don, already in this game, we've seen 2 interceptions and 2 penalties. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think that in the case of, I think the tenseness had to do maybe with the penalties. In both cases, the lineman fired out too soon on the first one. On the second one, the guard pulled a little early on that one. As far as the interceptions go, I think that the first one, Louisville threw was up for grabs down the middle deep. And in the case of the second one, it appeared as though it was just overthrown. Now, there was a real nice pass reception there. Nice hook pattern, or curl pattern. Well done by Louisville.
Paul Farah, nice catch by him. Number 23, he lined up at wide receiver on that play. They also sent out Steve Borkman as the flanker.
Chris, something that a lot of people don't know about Paul Farah, he missed a year, I believe it was in the 8th grade, for open heart surgery, and came back to play ball. Does a fine job for the Leopards.
Certainly a remarkable comeback. Ryan Louisville gets the first down. They get themselves out of that 1st and 15 hole. And off once again goes to Tesh. Tesh going up the middle. Gain of about 5, maybe 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Sean Zimmerman in on the tackle for the Vikings.
Hey, look to the tight end.
Excuse me, Chris. I just going to say Paul Farah comes back into the ball game.
Oh, you can read my mind then.
Yeah, but Paul Farah's father's principal at Louisville.
Farah's out wide to the right this time. Matty to Greminger once again. We told you before we expected to see a lot of action from Gene Greminger, number 42. 178-pound senior tailback. Chris Chips in on the tackle again.
In addition to Paul Farah's father being the principal at Louisville, Paul Farah's father, Ike, was the football coach at Marlington one time, and was a real good one, by the way. He had Brett Shin and Carl Ballershell at that time, both of whom went to Bowling Green on full rides. He had some real fine football players and some real fine football teams prior to Marlington. He was also coaching Tri-County League.
Pass goes out to Rick Minster on the right side, and Minster has the first down for Louisville. They're going to mark the ball around the 10-yard line, so Louisville is threatening with 5:19 left to play here in the first quarter at North Canton. Ball is just shy of the 10-yard line, so Louisville conceivably could make another first down before getting into the end zone. But if they did, they would be right on the verge of punching it in. So it's 1st and 10, ball at the 10.
5 minutes,
Borkman in
19
motion.
seconds remain.
That's Ted up the middle. Close to the goal line, finally dragged down just shy of it. We're going to mark it at the 3 or 4.
Chris Chips on the tackle for the Vikings.
Chris Chips makes that tackle again.
2nd down and about 2.
And North Canton has called a timeout. Clock stops now with 4:56 remaining in period number 1.
And so with that clock stopped and Louisville knocking on the door, we will take this timeout and be back in just a moment. Canton and Louisville met on the...
Remind you that tomorrow night here at Memorial Stadium at 6:30, the North Canton Midget Football 1982 preview will be held. This is an opportunity for all football fans to
Mr. Steak has been serving Canton in the same location for 12 years now, serving only USDA choice steaks with no tenderizers, naturally aged and cooked to perfection. At Mr. Steak, you'll find full waitress service with family prices and a children's menu. And at Mr. Steak, you'll find not only steaks, but seafood, sandwiches, and dessert as well. George Rader, your local Mr. Steak host, invites you to drop in at Mr. Steak, 3504 West Tusk in Canton.
Paying insurance bills is nobody's favorite way to spend money. Your Nationwide agent knows that. But your Nationwide agent also knows all too well how devastating it can be when people don't have enough life, health, home, or car insurance. Nationwide agents sell insurance, but what they're really selling is peace of mind.
Nationwide is on your side. Your Nationwide agent in the North Canton area is Raymond Radosevic at 499-9250. Also in North Canton, Clark Swisher, Call Clark at 499-8886. And in Minerva, dial William Unkefer at 868-4261.
If you're like my friend Charlie, who drives for show and likes to save his dough, then Suit Yourself Menswear is the place to go. Like Charlie, you'll find quality clothing and shoes at very low prices. 40 to 70% off suggested retail. Suit Yourself Menswear offers you personalized service, professional tailoring, and a free tie with every Suiter Sport Coat purchase. Seeing is believing at Suit Yourself Menswear. Be a champion like Charlie. Make the drive to suit yourself. Why pay more?
There's less than 5 minutes in the first quarter, and already this game is proving to be as exciting, if not more, than it was touted to be. Let's get back to the action with Denny Hazen.
Thank you, Chris Popa, as we watch Gene Greminger score his first Federal League touchdown of the year, 6-0 Louisville.
And it's the first Federal League touchdown for the Louisville Leopards as they go on top 6-0. Clock shows 4:53 left to play here in period 1. So Louisville, Paul Farah first set up that touchdown drive with an excellent return of the opening kickoff in the game. There was a change of possession before Louisville finally got it back and was able to mount that drive. Extra point kick is up. And it is no good, off to the left.
Don, what happened?
Well, I think what has taken place, you saw the first pass that Louisville threw, throwing deep, and it was pretty obvious that both the defensive halfbacks and also the safety were hanging back quite deep against them. And as a result, Coach Starkey went to his shorter throwing game with the hooks and the out pattern to take them in and set up that touchdown. Now, Brian Matty does not throw real well deep, but he is a good short passer, and that's what you saw in that last drive, which set up the touchdown for Louisville.
The officials for this ball game tonight: referee Nick Define, umpire Dennis Roman, linesman Ron DeCellis. Bill Jones is the line judge tonight, and Jim Saliola, the back judge.
Wally Kendall, the kickoff for Louisville. They lead 6-0. Gene Greminger on the run. Extra point attempt was no good. LaFont looks like he's going to get it. He does, takes it near the goal line. Nice tackle on the play. He's dragged down about the 16, 17-yard line.
Don, when you see LaFont come out of the hole like that, you just take a big, deep breath.
Yes, you do. It looked like it was set up inside. They'll tried to break it outside out around the deep man or the outside man, and was unable to do so. The timing was a little off. Had he gotten there a little sooner, it looked like it might have been an opening.
Okay, the Vikings will go to work at their own 17-yard line. The handoff goes to LaFont. LaFont with nothing. Gets back about to the line of scrimmage. Of course, last week we saw LaFont break a kickoff for 85 yards in the touchdown late in the game against Akron Kenmore. Certainly whenever you see him get the ball on a kickoff, you've got to think it could happen again. And certainly with that kind of speed, it can. It'll be 2nd and 10. Clock approaching the 4-minute mark here at North Canton. Zuckel gets this handoff, breaks one tackle. He gets close to the 20. Jim Murphy in on the tackle. So it'll be 3rd down, about 8. Powell and Jeremiah coming into the lineup for North Canton. Haven't seen a lot of passing. 1 interception so far. Reefer may have to go this time. Nope, they're going to go back to the ground. LaFont, he's not going to get anything. Good defense on part of Louisville. Coach, we hear a lot about swarming on defense. It looked like there were a lot of Louisville players around. What exactly is meant by swarming?
Well, that means when a number of players are in on the tackle, of course. I think you have to give Paul Starkey and his staff much credit. Over the years, I know this, that if Coach Starkey does anything in preparing very well, there's no question about that. But if there's a real good back or a real good ball carrier, on the opposing team. I think number one thing he has done over the years very, very well is to shut off that good ball carrier. I know, I've experienced it.
Rodak gets the punt across the 50, close to the 45, and he's dragged down. So Louisville will get the ball once again in excellent field position. They're already in North Canton territory. The first quarter's not over, and it seems like half the field has not been used at all. Louisville will operate at about the 46-yard line of North Canton. Brian Maddie, the junior, still at quarterback for the Leopards. Looks like we had some movement in the line there. I think it was number 52, Christie, on the movement. Looks like it will go against Louisville.
I think you're right, Chris.
Illegal procedure.
Why so much motion? Why so much movement?
Well, it could be the movement of the defensive line sometimes. The North Canton defensive line did shift prior to the ball being snapped, and that could have drawn the young man off sides or encroachment, causing him to move. Also, the only thing they're allowed to say defensively when that happens, when they shift, is move. And perhaps that drew his attention and caused him to jump.
First and 15 once again. Nothing on that one. We're seeing some good defense on the part North Canton. Gene Greminger on the carry.
2 minutes even remaining to be played in the first period. 6-0 Louisville. A lot of time left for football.
This is the third time Louisville has had to start with the first and 15 situation. That can be very frustrating to Paul Starkey, of course. It's surprising to note that Louisville is on top because they have had the field position in this contest so far. Maddie's going to pass. Good time. Gets it up there. He's got Berkwin out there. Berkwin is across the 30-yard line, but there is a flag down. The ball is being spotted. The 26, 27-yard line. We'll have to wait for the indication. Looks like it will be against North Canton. It's a clipping penalty against Louisville. So Louisville's offensive unit marched downfield. They're going to have to march right back up again. A penalty hurts Louisville.
Brian Maddie is the quarterback for Louisville and comes from a very good athletic family. His father, Ed Maddie, was an excellent athlete back in the 50s for Louisville, both as a football player, as a basketball player, and then later on became a coach at Perry, was a head basketball coach at Perry at some time. A little story, back in the about 1961, I believe it was, when I happened to have to leave school for a while for surgery, and Ed came in and just graduated from Kent State and came in and was substitute for me for about 4 weeks. At which time, when I came back, he wasn't sure whether he was going to go into coaching or be a carpenter. I see he's gone into teaching and coaching, and certainly I'm sure he's proud of the young men that he has on his, the 2 young boys who are playing on this squad. He and Jane, by the way, are the father of 8 children. Ed is a real fine football player and athlete in his day, and I'm sure that he's very proud of these 2 young men on this Louisville squad.
Steve Berkwin, the culprit on that last penalty against Louisville. Another illegal motion penalty. Clipping was assessed, and it was a 2nd down and 6 situation. Rick Rodriguez comes into the game for North Canton. Doug Thurman comes out. So the ball will be moved back 5 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 11, and penalties continue to hurt the Leopards. Berkwin wide to the left. Maddie's looking. Berkwin's open. Not much on the pass. Lucky that one wasn't intercepted. That one was up for grabs. Don, I know in pro football, we hear how important the pass rush is for the Cleveland Browns and teams like that. I know the passing game is something that a lot of high schools like to have, but often they consider it to be just a fringe benefit. In light of that, how important is a pass rush, and how good do you think the pass rushes are by these 2 teams tonight?
Well, I think in that particular play, you saw the importance of the pass rush in that he had to hurry the throw, and therefore it caused it to be a little wobbly and got up a little slow. Brian got up a little slow on that, but on any level, the pass rush is extremely important. Chris.
Matty's going to try it again, and there you see more of that pass rush. Looks like he just had to throw it away. Were they trying to set up the screen, Don?
Greminger. That was a screen to Greminger. They did have about 4 white shirts out in front of him, out in front of Gene, but it was just overthrown a little bit. Had he caught it, it could have been a lot of trouble for the Vikings.
As it is, it's now 4th down and 11. Louisville will be forced to punt.
This is going to be the first punt of the evening for the Leopards. Don, talking about kicking the football, not punting, but kicking, we noticed that the Leopards missed their an extra point attempt this week, and we saw a couple of misses last week by the Vikings. Is that commonplace at the beginning of a season?
Well, yes, sometimes it is. Of course, you know, there are a lot of things that have to happen. First of all, that snap has to be out back there. It has to be a good snap. It has to be put down, and then the kick being made. So you don't always fault the kicker for the lack of the extra point being good at a field goal. There also, you have the holder and the snapper, plus the protection. There are a lot of things that can distract that kicker.
The ball is spotted at the 26-yard line. Not a very good punt, but then again, Jerry LaFont didn't get his hands on it, so maybe that's all for the better for the Louisville Leopards. North Canton, they're down by 6 points. They'll operate from their own 26-yard line. Jeremiah wide to the right. Mark Reefer still at quarterback. Looking for a quick slant pass. Goes to the other side. Dogmanovich. Or that was Scott Powell, beg your pardon. Powell gains about 5. It'll make it 2nd and 5. Chris Sherlock shuttling into the game for North Canton. Just 33 seconds left in period 1. First quarter about to come to an end. Clock stops. Powell went out of bounds. They're going to go to the run. LaFont. He's got some running room. He's got a first down and more. Finally dragged down around the 40-yard line. It will be enough for a North Canton first down.
Scott Powell has replaced Dan Dogmanovich in the lineup as a wide receiver, and Dan evidently is hurt. He is hurt. They're working on him on the sideline. He is one of their better football players, and is a two-way performer, both at safety and as a wide receiver. They're certainly going to miss him if he has to stay out for a long period of time.
Don, we'll try and get a report from Chris Pope on the condition of Dan Dogmanovich. We'll have that probably in the second quarter here.
Reefer looking for Powell. Broken up there by John Rodak. Fans looked like they were calling for interference on that one. Rodak looked like he didn't really know where the ball was. He was just chasing Powell down the sideline, so it will be 2nd and 10. And with the incomplete pass, the clock stops once again, so we'll still have a little more first quarter action. There you see Ed Glass, second-year coach of the Vikings. Successful coach before he came here as well. Handoff goes to number 21, Zuko. Zuko, good yardage, close to a first down. Looks like he'll be just a little short. He's close to midfield. Murphy and Greminger, both credited with assisting in the tackle.
The officials have called for a timeout with 5 seconds remaining on the clock to call for a measurement on that first down play. Chris said a moment ago it appears to be just a hair short. We'll find out here in just a moment.
Missed by a couple of inches. So they'll take the markers back. North Canton will start again. Nice play by John Zukel. 5 seconds left. Looks like this will be the last play of the first quarter. Third down and a couple of inches for North Canton. Clock begins to roll. They try the quarterback sneak. Reefer looks like he has enough. It appears he does. Time expires here in the first quarter with a score. Louisville 6, North Canton nothing.
And with that timeout for the change of quarters, we too will take a timeout and bring you these commercial messages, to which we hope you pay close attention, and we will return in just a moment.
Pass along the good feeling of IGA.
People People all over town are passing along the good feeling of IGA's weekly specials like these.
Haighton's IGA of Louisville is now offering 10 pounds of U.S. #1 potatoes for 69 cents and 3 one-pound loaves of IGA white bread, only 89 cents.
So next time you shop, get the good feeling at IGA and pass it along.
The good feeling of IGA.
Yoder's Marathon in Louisville is a full-service station. At Yoder's, service is the name of the game and has been for 3 generations over the last 4 decades. Located at 311 West Main in Louisville, Yoder's Marathon is certainly located for easy access and offers old-fashioned service and quality. Remember what it was like to have your windshield cleaned when you stopped for gas? Well, that service you can still find at Yoder's, in addition to tune-ups and other general auto maintenance. Yoder's Marathon in Louisville, service in a family tradition.
Welcome to Nick's Place Top Chalet Restaurant. Here you will find intimate, relaxed dining in elegant surroundings. Located at the corner of Whipple Avenue and Everhard Roads, Nick's Place Top Chalet is in the heart of the Belden Village area. You'll enjoy the personal, fast, friendly service by our large staff and live entertainment to set the mood for a memorable evening. Enjoy that special night on the town with family and friends in a warm, unique atmosphere. That's Nick's Place Top Chalet.
We checked with our contact with the Hoover Vikings team, Joe Martino, about Doc Manovich. No problem, he's okay. It just looks like a sprain. They taped up his ankle. He'll be okay. He's not even sitting on the bench anymore. Now, let's get back to the action. Go up with Denny Hazen.
Thank you, Chris, for that timely report.
Second quarter action about to get underway. Louisville 6, North Canton nothing, but North Canton has the ball just across midfield. They're going to try to change that. Mark Reefer at quarterback. Hands off. LaFont trying to draw a play. He stopped in the backfield. We're going to mark it for a loss of a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd and 12. We saw LaFont get the ball a lot. Certainly a player as good as he is going to see the ball a lot. Don, do you think North Canton may try to mix it up a little more against a better team tonight?
Well, I think they have. John Zuckel's run the ball considerably tonight, and as I mentioned earlier, I think that they have their sights set on LaFont, and as a result, you might see a little better performance from Zuckel, but LaFont has been shot pretty well so far tonight.
Larry Howe, excellent pass rush. We were just talking about that a couple moments ago. Howe with that sack of quarterback Mark Reefer, and that pushes North Canton all the way back. So certainly they may be in trouble now. It is 3rd down, about 25, 26 yards to go.
This is very possible a screen or draw at this time. This is when they like to throw these screens to the outside. We'll see what it is. No, it isn't. Wrong
Reefer is
again.
going to put up. Had great Fouts out there.
Great catch by Fouts, number 41, on that particular play. Reached out, grabbed it with one hand. He's an excellent football player and is also a real good baseball player, long ball hitter, and has really come on very well this year.
Was an excellent catch indeed, Don. Not enough for the first down, however. It's going to be 4th, about 8 to go. So North Canton will be forced into a punting situation. And Fouts, who just made that wonderful catch, will have to go back and punt the ball away to the Leopards. Rodak and Farah deep for Louisville. Nice kick. It's going to go into the end zone. It's a touchback, so Louisville will take over on their own 20-yard line. Just under 10 minutes left to play here in the first half. Louisville 6, North Canton nothing. Louisville getting the ball back. If you've just joined us, the only score of the game so far tonight, Gene Greminger scoring from inside the 5-yard line. The extra point was no good. That's where we stand right now. For most of the game, Louisville has had the better field position, although North Canton has been driving a little bit, and now Louisville finds themselves pinned back at their own 20. The pitch goes to Greminger. Greminger with some running room. He's up near the 30-yard line. It's going to take more than one Viking to bring him down. Greminger showing his strength on that play, close to a first down. And that's what they're going to give him. They're going to give him a first down. Mark the ball at about the 32-yard line. Minster into the game. Liberatore out for Louisville. Minster will go wide to the right. And off goes to Greminger again. This time he'll try the other side. He's got just as much room there. Looks like another 12-yard gain. It will be a Louisville first down once again. Close to the 45-yard line. Make it the 44. Rick Geckler in on the tackle for North Canton.
Last year we saw Greminger for the Leopards play defensive tackle, and he would also come in as a running back.
Another Louisville first down. This one goes to Tash. He's got a lot of running room as well. Big gainer of over 20 yards on that one, and it will be the third consecutive first down for Louisville.
I talked to Paul Starkey prior to the game, and he mentioned that he was a little surprised at how strong his running game was this year. And at this point, it does look very strong, Don. Is the running game strong, or are we having problems on defense?
Well, I think that the offensive line is doing a very good job. The timing is real good. And as we said earlier, I'm sure that Louisville is prepared very, very well for this football game. It's quite obvious at this particular time.
Ball spotted just across the 35-yard line of North Canton. Matty looks to pass. He lobs it up there. He's got Berkwin. Berkwin out of bounds around the 30. Good for about a 5-yard pickup. So far, we've seen an explosive offensive ground attack by Louisville. They lost 9 offensive starters from last year's Federal League Championship team, so certainly they are in the testing phase as well. And we have a player down for North Canton. Number 30, it's Ron Feller.
Don, you say that Ron has a problem of, a history of knee problem, rather.
Yes, Ron hurt the knee early in the season during two-a-days, and he's had problems with it since. He was off for a couple weeks and came back last week and re-injured slightly, was able to get back in the ball game. Now, how serious it is or how severe at this time remains to be seen. It's one of those situations where throughout the season it certainly isn't going to improve as long as he keeps playing, but hopefully he can continue as he has the last 2 weeks.
Well, we have Chris Poba down on that end of the field already, and he is attempting to find out the condition of the injured Viking, and when he does, we will pass that information along to you. Ed Glass out in the field right now. We might tell you at this point also that radio station WHBC is here tonight as well, broadcasting this game. It is one of the biggest games of the season for Federal League. There you can see up in the booth somewhat Jim Johnson, and along with him John No H. Wilson and Dan Belfort, or rather Dave Alpert in the booth up there, and we acknowledge them and support them. A lot of people may not know it, but they won 2 Associated Press Awards for sports coverage this year, and I think that's real fine for sports in this community and for their effort.
Ron Feller has to be helped off the field. We'll try to get a report on him later. Meanwhile, back to action. Tesh gets the ball across the 25-yard line. Very close to a first down. I think he has it, but the officials have a better viewpoint than I do, so we'll have to wait for the official indication. Officials timeout. They are going to measure. Eight minutes, 12 seconds left to play here in the first half. We're at North Canton waiting for a measurement for this first down. Louisville has it. Another first down. They've had 4 in this drive. They've established a good running attack, and certainly that can open up your passing attack as well. First down, Louisville driving again. They're inside the North Canton 25-yard line. Ron Feller still being attended to on the sidelines. As we mentioned before, we'll give you a report as soon as we know anything. John Smith replaces him. 1st and 10, Louisville. The pitch goes to Greminger. Greminger going to try the left side. Good pursuit on the part of North Canton. I see Steve Swinehart was in on the tackle. John Stroya also. No gain on that one. It'll be 2nd and 10. Second down and 10. A little mix-up. Minster now decides to go to the left side. He initially moved to the right. Rodak off to the right. Handoff. Goes to Greminger. Big gain for Greminger.
Chris Pope is standing by on the sideline right now with that injury report we requested. Chris?
Denny, they're giving Ron Feller the once-over right now. They're checking out his injury. They don't know what it is at this point. They had to carry him off the field, as you saw, and he was in some amount of pain. They're working on him right now, and we'll have a future report. Back to you, Denny.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate your effort. 6 minutes, 49 seconds remain in the first half of play here in North Canton.
3rd and 1. They'll go to Greminger. That would have been a good guess. He's their money player. He gets the first down with ease. John Zuckel in on the tackle for the Vikings. Ball is being placed at the 13-yard line. Rodriguez comes out. John Collins replaces him on defense at tackle for North Canton. Minster goes out wide to the left. Tesh and Greminger still in the backfield, and of course the junior Brian Matty at quarterback. Matty will hand off to Tesh. Tesh inside the 10-yard line. Stroya in on the tackle.
The Leopards on top at this point, 6-0, but they are knocking on the door. Ball resting on the 8-yard line.
It'll be a 2nd down and 4 situation. And off to Greminger once again. Greminger just plows his way closer and closer to that goal line. It takes a swarm of tacklers to bring him down. Don, what can a coach do when the opposition has a runner as powerful as Gene Greminger?
Well, all you can do is hang in there and do the best job you can. Naturally, again, they're picking apart the left side of the North Canton line, right side of the Louisville line, and they're just running isolation or power right off the right guard, right tackle. He's the second back through, and with his power and his size, it's pretty difficult to stop him.
Another 1st and goal situation for North Canton. Quarterback keeper up the middle. It is a touchdown. Louisville leads 12-0. Brian Matty with the 2nd touchdown of the night and the 2nd touchdown for the Leopards.
It was Matty who scored first for the Leopards last week against Minerva. And now Matty carries from 1 yard. 12-0 Louisville.
And now we're going to see the extra point attempt. Looks like Louisville's going to go for 2. Try to make up for that one they lost. Matty to pass. He was looking for Rick Minster. Was that Paul Fair out there? Either way, it's incomplete.
Chris Pope is now standing by on the sideline with an updated report.
Denny, as far as number 30, Ron Feller goes, it was a knee injury. In fact, I was told that Ron had pulled some ligaments in that very knee before the season. He's going to be seeing the doctor on Tuesday probably, and definitely will not be back in tonight's game. Denny?
Chris, we thank you so much for that report, but we hate to hear it. That is a terrible situation for not only for the North Canton team, but particularly for Ron, because that's probably one of the most serious injuries that you see in football today, and we are deeply, deeply grieved to hear that.
Ron Feller not coming back into tonight's contest. Wally Candle with the kickoff. Louisville scored twice. North Canton is yet to get on the board. 5:14 remaining here in the second half. Or the second quarter, make that. LaFont gets it. He's going to try the same side where he had that 85-yard run before. Runs into some of his own blockers, and he's dragged down at the 30-yard line. So that's where North Canton will operate.
Chris, the ball was knocked loose there, but LaFont very quickly scooped it back in, and that could have been very serious for the Vikings.
Don, we know North Canton has a talented passing attack. Do you think Coach Glass is going to be tempted to try to open up the offense a little more and go to the passing game?
Well, I think he'll open it up some more. Of course, he has had it fairly well open. You don't want to get yourself in a position where you do have an interception and give Louisville give the football to them again in good field position. So you have to be careful what you do. Here's a completion almost to John Zuckel back out of the backfield, and he was open. He wouldn't have gained too much on it. We're told also, Chris, that Ron Feller is out for the remainder of the evening. How serious the injury to the knee is, we do not know, but he will not play anymore tonight. He does have to see the doctor Tuesday. Let's just hope he gets back shortly, because I know how hard he worked and how much he looked forward to his senior year. And it just is a shame any time a young man loses that senior year. So we hope that he'll be back within a short time.
Our best wishes go out to Ron Feller. Pass out there to LaFont. LaFont at the 35-yard line, pickup of about 5. John Packwilay, number 39, linebacker, and on the tackle for Louisville.
Chris, we might say our best wishes and our prayers go out to Ron Feller with that knee injury or re-injured knee. 4 minutes, 20 seconds remain in the first half. The visiting Louisville Leopards on top 12-0 at this point.
Hand off to LaFont. LaFont looks like he's got the first down across the 40-yard line. Jim Murphy in on the tackle for Louisville. It is a first down for North Canton across the 40-yard line. Jerry LaFont is down. Already Dan Dokmanovich came off. He came back into the game. We understand Ron Feller is out for the night. We don't know how serious it is. Now Jerry LaFont shaken up. He's coming off under his own power. Replacing him will be number 35 for the Vikings. That is Earl Gregory. So now we'll keep Chris Popa busy and hope he can get us a report on Jerry LaFont. First and 10. LaFont shaken up, but he gets the first down. Reefer to pass, puts it up. He had Chris Sherlock out there, knocked away. Good defense back there by Rodak, Paul Farah. Just under 4 minutes to play now here in the first half. Still 12-0. Jerry LaFont back into the game. Coach, a moment ago you were saying on an injury a player has to come out for one play. That's a rule, I understand?
Yes, that's correct. If there's an injury in high school football, you must, it causes a timeout, an injury timeout, you must come out for at least one play before re-entering the game.
And I'm certain Jerry LaFont is okay. Otherwise, Ed Glass would not have brought him back into the contest. We're going to see another pass. Reefer puts it up. He's got his man out there, Dokmanovich. And Dokmanovich very close to another North Canton first down. Paul Farah in on the tackle.
Mark Reefer threaded the needle with that ball. There was white shirts all over the place, and that ball had to be perfectly thrown, and it was.
It is good enough for a first down. Coach, you're right. North Canton seems to be opening up the attack, but they're not going crazy with it at the same time. Now they are starting to move the ball. They are into Louisville territory, the ball being marked at the 47-yard line, and the crowd starting to get excited. Reefer going to try the air again. Quick pass over the middle to Fouts. Break Fouts. Looks like a gain of about 6. Jim Murphy in on the tackle for Louisville. Coach, do you think the North Canton offense now has the Louisville defenders guessing?
Yes, I think so. They've come out and thrown on first down and second down here. They may settle down a little bit, but you know there isn't too much time left on the clock till halftime, Chris. We're sitting at about 3 minutes right now. So they're going to have football in the air considerably during this drive.
LaFont in motion. He goes out. Pass goes out to Dogmanovich. Dogmanovich catches it, and he's down at the 23-yard line.
Chris, at the top of the program, we talked about what a fine passer Mark Reefer is, and on those last couple of plays there, it becomes evident. A strong arm, a good eye. He's quick and a good thinker. Mark Reefer, number 14, fine quarterback for the North Canton Hoover Vikings.
Chris Sherlock brings in the play for the Vikings. Mark Reefer finding the air game is working well. Ed Glass decides he wants to stick with it. We've seen a number of passes, and it's because of that passing attack that North Canton is at the Louisville 24. Reefer's going to try it again. Setting up the screen pass. He's got LaFont out there. LaFont's at the 20, the 15, the 10. Dragged out of bounds at the 4-yard line.
We're going to take a quick timeout, and we'll be back with this scoring play in just a moment. This is the time of year to save at Fry Hardware and Supply, because right now Fry Hardware and Supply is celebrating the Glidden anniversary sale on famous spread satin wall paint. Only $9.99 a gallon, and that's $6 off the regular price. Now that is a bargain. Pick up a gallon of Glidden spread satin today at Fry Hardware and Supply, 950 South Main in North Canton. And Fry Hardware and Supply also has a complete kitchen and bath showroom, as well as plumbing, heating, and electrical supplies. Fry Hardware and Supply. Over the last few weeks, we've seen a strong turn upward in the stock market. That's a good sign for the economy, and it's having a positive effect on the automobile business.
Penny, at Tom Edwards Ford, we've noticed a recent upsurge in the used car end of the business. I believe it's because of sticker shock on the new car end of it. We've combated it by giving the customers a choice. I go to Detroit, as you know, and I purchase factory executive cars, and it gives them the ability to get into a nice, well-equipped used car at a moderate price.
How about the person who's looking for a good buy on a real economy car?
In the economy line right now, I've got 11 brand new Escorts on the ground, and these cars, we've had many customers come in after they've purchased them and reported better than 40 miles per gallon on the open road.
Where can we find these cars?
Tom Edwards Ford, 500 North Chapel Street in Louisville.
You are watching WJAN, Channel 17 in Canton, Ohio, flagship station of the PTL television network.
The ball is resting on the 1-yard line, second down, goal to goal, 2 minutes remaining in the first half.
Reefer on a keeper up the middle. Still not close enough.
Don, that play we missed.
The play you missed was nothing but a wedge where everybody, you have the apex, which is the probably the guard or the man just from the right of the center on the power side, and everybody just flows straight ahead and try to stay on your feet, and John Zoop came behind them and got as much as he could down about the 1-yard line. Then we came back with a quarterback sneak. He picked up about a foot or two. It's now third and about 18 inches to go.
Third and goal. You heard it, about a half a yard. LaFont tries to go over the top, and he's got it. North Canton gets on the board. Jerry LaFont from the half-yard line. The clock stopped. 1:12 left to play here in period number 2. And the score stands Louisville 12, North Canton now with 6 points.
So the Vikings come back. And at this point, Don, this is where the extra points carry extra value. Extra points mean extra value. When you miss them and your opposition knocks on the door, that is where the extra point really begins to count.
This is very important right here. Scott Powell holds. Sean McHenry is the kicker, a left-footed kicker. And he hooked it to the right. It is no good.
Indeed, he hooked it. score will remain 12-6. Neither team has been able to make a conversion. We've seen 3 touchdowns so far.
Well, we've had 3 scores. The first one, Gene Grimminger carried the ball in on that same end of the field in the first period for the Louisville Leopards. Ran 2 yards in, going off right tackle. The point was no good, and it was 6-0 Louisville. Then in the second period, again, Louisville, Brian Matty on the opposite end of the field, 1-yard keeper. They tried for 2 on the extra point attempt. That was no good. It was 12-0, and now with 1:12 remaining, the Vikings have just carried the ball to pay dirt. Once again, Jared Affont, the main man who did so much last week against Akron Kenmore, comes through for North Canton, makes it 12-6, and the extra point attempt, no good. So we've seen 3 point attempts, 2 by toe, 1 by arm for the collective teams here tonight, and no conversions.
Andy Logan now to kick off for North Canton. Farah gets it about the 7-yard line. It's going to go straight up the middle. Gets across the 20, but that's really about it. Ball's going to be marked at the 25-yard line. So Louisville will have 1 minute and 6 seconds in which to drive downfield and perhaps get one final score before the half. 12-0. Louisville, they have another chance. Try and do something. Brian Matty back at quarterback. He's gone all the way for Louisville. Brooklyn out wide to the right. Handoff goes up the middle. Grimminger once again. He bulls his way for about 2 yards.
Clock at 41 seconds and counting.
Don, what can you do at this stage in the game?
Well, you can do one of 2 things. Either sit on the ball and run the clock out, which is what they're likely to do at least until the last play of the half, rather than to cause an interception and let North Canton go on in. So I imagine they'll just run one more play and let the clock run out, unless they throw the ball. That would be 2 choices you have.
Don Hurtler knows Paul Starkey all too well. He knows Starkey will not make a foolish decision. Well, there was a mistake on part of Louisville. It's going to be delay of game, going to set them back another 5 yards. So that will probably bring up about a 2nd down and 13 situation.
Chris, I think that likely would not be a mistake, but rather a pre-plan. Once again, to use as much time as possible. Louisville perfectly content at this point to go to the locker room at halftime with a 6-point lead, not wanting to do anything foolish, as Don just said a moment ago. So perfectly willing to use as much time as possible, and very likely on this play they could eat the rest of the time and go to halftime with a 6-point lead.
All right, you are, Denny. Only 8 seconds on the clock. This will be the last play. Matty just falls back in his own backfield. And the clock expires. So we have half of the ball game under our belts here at North Canton.
And so the visiting Louisville Leopards leading the home North Canton Hoover Vikings by a score of 12-6. In just a moment, we'll be back with some special halftime features and additional information. That in a moment, but first this.
Wally Candle to kick off for Louisville. North Canton trails by a touchdown, so they've got some ground to make up. LaFonce going to field on the bounce, gets away from him, has to chase it back close to the goal line. He's in bad position to get any yardage. He's dragged out around the 13-yard line.
Dragged out, Chris, but he also almost accidentally stepped out there, and I'm sure that had he not been hit, the ball would have been down anyway.
Don, I know you're a veteran of many football contests. What do you think the respective coaches told their players at halftime, considering one team's down by 6, the other one's ahead by 6?
Well, I think it's a matter of trying to get the problems ironed out at halftime. That's what you think in doing at that time, trying to make adjustments and changes, and of course try to get fired up a little bit right before they come out, so that they're prepared, well prepared for the second half, and hopefully you make the correct adjustments. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong, and oftentimes becomes a guessing game, but you try to make those corrections at halftime.
The illegal blocking penalty moves it back halfway to the goal. Officials spotted just across the 6-yard line. So North Canton not in good position to start off the game. Handoff goes to Zuckel. Zuckel up across to the 15. Another flag is down, but a good gain by Zuckel. John Rodak in on the tackle. We'll have to wait and see what the officials call on this one. It's against North Canton, another illegal block. So John Zuckel's run is going to go for naught.
Ball goes back to the 8-yard line.
North Canton ball on the 8-yard line. Once again, third quarter action. 6 for North Canton, 12 for the visiting Louisville Leopards.
Chris Sherlock into the contest for the Vikings. So they'll try to operate again. Not much running room there. Zuckel once again getting the ball. Jim Murphy in on the tackle for Louisville. Beg your pardon, that was LaFont on the carry. You see LaFont's not too happy about that. Jeremiah back into the game for North Canton. They credit him with a pickup of 1 on the play. It's going to be 2nd down and 8.
Looks like about a yard and a half to me, Chris.
I knew you were going to say that. I just should have kept talking. Reefer's going to put it up.
Nice catch.
Come on, the officials rule it a reception. Greg Fouts. They're going to mark it about the 15-yard line. It'll still be a couple yards shy of a first down. That'll bring up a 3rd down situation. 3rd down and about 2.
3rd down and 2 for the Vikings.
Interesting point about that is he was diving after that. Don, if his knees had been on the ground, would that catch have still been good?
That's no problem. As long as he catches the football, he can be standing on his head or he can be on his back. As long as the ball is caught, it doesn't matter whether he's down or not. But immediately the ball is dead when he does catch it when he's on his knees.
Jerry LaFont trying the right side. He's got the first down and more. Dragged down close to the 25-yard line, and so North Canton in deep trouble when they began this series of plays. Now gets somewhat out of that hole. North Canton has a first down and some breathing room at around the 25.
Paul Farah brought him down with a shoulder tackle. I know a lot of times coaches don't like to see shoulder tackles, but as fast as LaFont is, when he's turning the corner, if somebody brings him down, I'm sure that the opposition wouldn't care if it was shoestring, shoulder, or what it was, just to bring him down, because he is so quick and so talented.
Jeremiah back into the game. He lines up wide to the left. Reefer puts it up. It's intercepted and dropped. Almost an interception by number 33, the linebacker for Louisville, Mike Case.
Well, Mike Case was a little slow getting up, Chris, but I'm sure that he was not in pain except anguish for having dropped that pass.
It looked like we were a little too intent with that one. Mike's has real good hands. He's one of the better baseball players and a real good hitter. So the fact he's a good baseball player, he does have good hands. He just wasn't able to hang on to that one.
2nd and 10. Handoff goes to LaFont. He tries the short side. Gets a couple yards before driven out of bounds. And Murphy once again in on the tackle.
We might make mention of the fact that a lot of times you hear about television coverage somewhat hurting attendance, but the stands on both sides of the field are full, and there are people standing along both end zones, and there are a lot of people out here for this ball game tonight. We don't have an attendance count, but a lot of people came out, and that makes us feel good.
Fouts gets that pass. Looks like he's close to another first down. I think he has it. Greg Fouts, the pass from Mark Reefer. Pick up about 11. John Paquile credited with that tackle. It is another Viking first down.
We talk about people. We mentioned Rick Minster wearing number 22 for the Leopards last year in basketball season, being back on the field. We got a former Leopard with us right now. We'll talk to him in a moment just after this play.
1st and 10 for North Canton. Ball spotted at the 35-yard line. The pitch goes to LaFont. LaFont trying the left side. Picks up about 3. Murphy once again in on the tackle. Also, Mike Redalia, number 78, right behind him.
Mike Summers, number 34, from the basketball team of Louisville, the team who won the Federal League Championship, co-championship this year. Mike, what are you doing now that you're graduating?
I started college 2 weeks ago. I'm really enjoying it at Malone College. It's been a great experience. I've met a lot of new people, made a lot of new relationships. It's really been a good time so far.
Well, Mike, we wish you the best of luck, and thanks for coming up to talk to us.
Thank you very much.
Motion penalty against the Vikings. Now the Louisville defense will have to decide what they want to do with it. Looks like they're going to take it. That will set the Vikings back 5 and make it a 1st and 15.
Vikings back 5 yards. First down and 15 from the 31.
Now the ball spotted just across the 30-yard line. If I was Denny, I'd say 30, 30 and a half. But I'm not, so I won't. 1st and 15, Reefer. Draw play to LaFont. LaFont picks up about 5. Greminger in on the tackle. Paquillet also there. LaFont slow in getting up, but he looks to be okay. He won't have to come out for a play on this series. Second down and 10. Reefer to put it up. He's got Sherlock out there. Sherlock makes a nice move on the defender, and he gets a first down. Close to midfield.
Chris Sherlock also plays 2 sports. He's a baseball player and a pitcher for the Vikings. His older brother, Bob, has played Class A ball for several years. He played with Isler's this past summer in Class A League, and also has played regular as a catcher for Walsh College. 3 boys, all of whom played high school football at North Canton.
Scott Codwell back in on defense for Louisville. It is a North Canton first down. The ball just shy of midfield. Zugel's going to get it. He's caught in the backfield. Nice play there. Number 42 for Louisville, Gene Greminger. He can play defense as well as offense. Loss of about 6. Call it about 2nd and 16.
It's very obvious to me that both coaches have prepared exceptionally well for this football game, as they always do, but they're picking things up, they're picking things apart, they're throwing well, and their game plan is excellent in both cases.
8 minutes, 11 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. Reefer to pass. Pressure being put on him, finally dumps it off, has to dump it away, couldn't find a receiver. Greminger once again. Don, it looks like he did have some time on the play. Do you have to credit the defense on that play?
It appeared as though it was a delayed screen, and luckily, though, it was not completed because the pass receiver, who it was intended for, was beyond the line of scrimmage. So and that would have been very costly to the Hoover Vikings. It would have been a loss of down in addition to the penalty. So it's just as well off it was not completed.
I do have to say that I am just amazed at Mark Reefer. He hung on to that ball until the very last second and was really drilled after he threw that ball.
Reefer's pass almost picked off by John Paquillet. Paquillet knocks it away. It's going to be 4th and 16. North Canton will have to punt. So North Canton started very deep, was able to move it up close to midfield, but there the drive sputtered out.
Chris, we have another guest with us, Ray Payne. Now, I know a lot of people who watched our basketball telecast last year several times saw Ray Payne, a basketball official, a football official, but he's up in the press box tonight not officiating. We'll talk to him in just a second as soon as we see this punt.
Fouts gets it away. Nice high kick. Rodak's going to take it around the 20-yard line. Dragged down short of the 30. That's where Louisville will begin to operate 1st and 10.
Ray, I know that you would love to be down there officiating, and you're not, because I understand you had a heart attack this spring, and obviously you're doing better. How you feeling?
Very good. Went back to school this week, and I'm feeling better all the time.
Do you think we'll be seeing you officiating any games now?
No, my doctor told me I was finished. So I'm observing officiating, still an interpreter for the local association, and still teaching an officiating class at McKinley Senior High School.
Ray Payne.
Handoff goes to Greminger. He doesn't get much there.
Gene Greminger, the ball carrier, led by John Stroya.
John Stroya in on the tackle. Heard a lot from Stroya last week against Kenmore. They mark it for no gain, so it'll be 2nd and 10. Ball spotted about the 29-yard line.
I mentioned last week that John Story, his father Virgil, was an outstanding football player. He also, I was fortunate to have him on my coaching staff for a few years back in the early mid-60s. He did a very good job there. Since then, he has left teaching for a number of years ago and has gone into business. But it was a real pleasure to have him on our staff at that time.
That pass was intended for Steve Berkwin. Overthrown, so it'll be 3rd and 10. Another passing situation for the Leopards. We've mentioned before that if you want a schedule of our football games, we will be doing many of them throughout the course of the football season. Just send us a self-addressed stamped envelope to High School Football, care of the station. You can look up the address in the phone book, or you can copy it down right now. The address is 6600 Atlantic Boulevard Northeast, Louisville, Ohio. Make sure you send it to Louisville. And then zip is 44641. Long pass upfield intended for Minster, knocked away by a pair of North Canton defenders. Doc Manovich in on the play. So is Rick Geckler. Nice double coverage against Rick Minster. That to break that one up.
That ball was really drilled, and it was out there. But ball touched before it ever got to Minster, and he really didn't have much of a chance.
North Canton fans now getting fired up.
6 minutes, 41 seconds remaining in the third quarter at North Canton's Memorial Stadium.
Another nice punt. LaFont has to turn around and just watch. It doesn't get a bounce, so LaFont picks it up. And LaFont, nowhere to go. He's plastered inside the 20.
Plastered? Where did you get that term, Chris?
You must have said it at some time. I don't usually use those words.
I like that. That's going to beat my yard and a half.
North Canton's defense certainly got a good round of applause from the fans, Don. How vital is it for the defense to give their offensive unit a lot of rest?
Well, that certainly is name of the game at this stage. I think they made some adjustments at halftime, and at least they've been able to contain Louisville the first series. Had things continued the way they had late in the first half, when Louisville had the long drive, it could have been a long night. But that's what we were talking about, adjustments at halftime. And it appears as though, at least for the time being, that those adjustments have been made. Now we'll see what the counter does.
Second down, about 6 yards to go. LaFont on that carry, pickup of about 4. Mark Reefer still at quarterback. Handoff goes to Zuckel. Zuckel for a couple. Jim Murphy in on the stop for Louisville.
Met by Jim Murphy, number 57.
Also in on the stop, Mike Caldwell for Louisville.
Brings up 3rd down and 3 for the...
Make that Scott Caldwell. Jeremiah comes in for North Canton. North Canton, the last time they had their hands on the ball, very successful. We've seen that they can pass in the first half. They've had one drive so far. Here in the second half, it sputtered out about midfield. We have the movement in the line, and we have a flag to stop it.
Right tackle.
Looks like it's going against Louisville. Offsides against Louisville. Sherlock brings the play in from Coach Glass. So they'll mark 5 yards against Louisville. Ball will be marked at the 30-yard line. Handoff goes to LaFont. LaFont's tripped up in the backfield, lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Larry Howell in on the tackle, number 41.
LaFont, the ball carrier, stopped by Grimminger. No gain on the play, second.
You know, Chris, we thank all the people who help in the production of the telecast, and certainly there are a lot, from the sponsors to the supporters, the people at the station, and all of the people who work. It takes 15 people to do the ball games, but there's a couple people here in North Canton we'll thank in just a moment after this play.
Handoff goes to Zuckel. He doesn't get much.
We would really like to thank Gordon Isley, athletic director here in North Canton, for his efforts and cooperation in the telecast of this ball game tonight and the game we did last week, and also one we're going to be seeing later down the road, the North Canton-McKinley game on October 29th. And Ed Glass, boy, he's been so good to us. And all of the people here in North Canton, what a nice welcome we've had, and we really do acknowledge that and say thank you.
3rd and 10. Reefer has to pass. Into the pocket, puts it up. Got a receiver out there for a first down. And he's still not dragged down. Chris Sherlock in on the reception. So North Canton just when it looked like their drive was going to be snuffed out, they get a big reception from Chris Sherlock. It'll be first down and 10 for the Vikings at about the 47, 46-yard line of the Vikings.
Don, I've been talking about Mark Reefer all night and all week for the fine arm he's got. He really is a good quarterback.
Yes, he is. Mark has come on very well. He's also blessed with well receivers. You have to give them credit, and that offensive line, never sell them short because they're the people that give him time. This Murphy, Jim Murphy from Louisville, has really been excellent at night. He's been on tackle after tackle after tackle, and he has had a fine football game. Getting back to Mark, as we said, too, I think that both coaches and both the coaching staffs have planned very well for this football game, as they do for the average person does not realize how many hours and hours and hours of work and preparation are put in to each and every ball game each and every week. It's amazing the time, and sometimes you plan exactly as you'd like, or you're correct, and sometimes you do not. And of course, during the ball game, then adjustments have to be made. But both teams have played very well tonight and performed, and it's good sportsmanship, just as the game is supposed to be played.
The player down on the field right now, Dan Dokmanovich, he was shaken up earlier, came back, apparently was okay. Now we'll have to wait and see how severe that injury is.
Dan Dokmanovich injured. Chris Popa will attempt to get a report on that as they help him off the field. We'll take a break and be back in just a moment. Schumacher Real Estate offers this comfortable home for the family with a modest income. Located on Canton's far northeast side, the kitchen and the bath in this home have both been newly remodeled. And this home features a formal dining room, a like-new two-car garage, and a private yard. If you've been disappointed in other modestly priced homes you've seen, take a look at this one. For information on this home, or if you're thinking of moving and you want a professional sales staff to offer the maximum in interest and exposure for your current residence, call Schumacher Real Estate in Louisville.
Mr. Steak has been serving Canton in the same location for 12 years now, serving only USDA choice steaks with no tenderizers, naturally aged and cooked to perfection. At Mr. Steak, you'll find full waitress service with family prices and a children's menu. And at Mr. Steak, you'll find not only steaks, but seafood, sandwiches, and dessert as well. George Rader, your local Mr. Steak host, invites you to drop in at Mr. Steak, 3504 West Tuscan, Canton.
3.
Second down. Apparently Dan Dokmanovich was not really shaken up. He came off the field under his own will. Pass is overthrown. The closest receiver was Greg Fouts.
The closest intended receiver was Greg Fouts. However, Steve Berkwood, number 12, wearing a white shirt, was very close and did not outstretch an arm. And so I'm sure it looked closer from up here than what it was down there. But that ball could have very easily been picked off.
About 3 minutes left to play here in the third period. It'll be third down. Call it about 8 to go. Last time North Canton had a third down long situation, they completed one to Chris Sherlock. This time they're going to go to Jerry LaFont. Nope. Tried to go for a reverse there. Did not work. Dave Coleman with the ball, and he didn't get anything. In fact, he lost a lot.
They certainly fooled me.
They fooled me too, but they did not fool the Leopards.
I see Mike Redalia in the lineup. There are 2 Redalias here. There was an older Redalia here a few years ago, Larry, I think, who was a cousin of these 2 young men. And by the way, he went to Muskingum College, played very well down there, is now an assistant coach at Carrollton High School.
Fouts' punt is away. Rodak is the closest one to it. He lets it bounce, catches it, and takes it across the 30, mark at about the 34-yard line. That's where Louisville will begin to operate.
Rodak returns the punt, made by Hoover. First down for Louisville on the 34.
Just over 2 minutes here to play in the third period. Score is still 12-6. Louisville Leopards, defending Federal League champions, in control of the ball, and thus far they've been in control of the ball game. Handoff will go to Greminger again, right up the middle. Gets maybe one.
Right up the middle and right over the top. He just ran up the back of all kinds of white and orange shirts. Really a tough ball player tonight, Gene Greminger. On that return a minute ago, John Rodak. I don't know a lot about the football background and John Rodak's history, but I do see his mother at the bank. And so I guess I'll say that as far as personal interest goes.
It'll be second down. About 9.5. Make that 8.5. Greminger once again gets it.
Flag on the play.
Flag, pickup of about 3.
A flag at the line of scrimmage.
No, that was a counter. That was where they take one man coming from the side.
Illegal motion against Louisville. That'll set them back 5.
Don, that play to a novice, might appear to be second man through. However, it was not. It was a counter. Explain that to us, if you will.
You had some cross-buck action in there, a counter-type play where one back comes one direction and the other back who got the ball went the other direction, and he probably had a trap off of it too, where they tried to trap the end and send Greminger off tackle. That's what you call a counter, or a little bit of misdirection by the first back.
Ball is spotted at the 31-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 13 for the Leopards. McMinster goes out wide to the right. Handoff only good for a couple. Mike Tesh got the ball on that one.
Ran for about a yard, yard and a half.
I'm not saying anything.
That's my Frank Gifford imitation for those of you who haven't picked that up yet.
I'm sure most of them haven't. Paul Farah in with the play. Clock continues to roll as we approach the end of the third period. Borkman and Farah out at the wide receiver positions. Maddie's looking plenty of time. Dumps it off there, looking for his tight end, Steve Libertor, just beyond Steve's reach. So it will be 4th down. Louisville will have to punt. 4th and 11, 25 seconds left.
Talk about these guys playing basketball and football and baseball, what have you. Steve Libertor, of course, a basketball player for the Leopards. However, he wears number 52, as I recall, for basketball, and not the same number some of the players have back and forth. You can't have an 84 in basketball.
Jerry LaFont, lone deep man for the Vikings. Snap is fumbled. Punt is high, but nowhere. Goes out of bounds. North Canton will take over. Excellent position. That's going to be very frustrating to a coach and to the punter to get a snap like that. The fundamentals are very important, aren't they, Don?
All right, the snap appeared to be real good, and that's what we talked last week about how important that kicking game is. Now, as a result, we dropped the ball. The partially blocked, or at least it wasn't blocked, it was kicked off the side of his foot, but gives North Canton very good field position. Now let's see whether or not they can take advantage of the break that they received at this time.
That's indeed what we'll do. North Canton has the ball inside the Louisville 40. Reefer's going to go into the air again. Good time, gets it up there. He's got Dogmanovich. Dogmanovich got the ball and he's going to score. This game is tied up at 12. With 12 seconds left in the third period, Dan Dogmanovich scores on a 37-yard pass from quarterback Mark Reefer. And you can bet the fans here in North Canton are fired up. But a penalty is going to bring it back. A lot of the fans haven't recognized it yet. Preliminary indication looks like it's going to be an offsides call against the Vikings. Well, it's not offsides, but the penalty does go against the Vikings nonetheless, and that's what's important. It nullifies that beautiful 37-yard pass reception by Dokmanovich, and the score is not 12-12. It is still 12-6, Louisville with the lead.
Dokmanovich appeared to be wide open down there, and really he was wide open, but it wasn't that he wasn't covered. Steve Berkwin covered him on that play, and he picked up the ball was in the air. He turned around, saw the ball was on the other side, and he had to turn all the way around, and as he did, he lost his balance and fell, which then left Dokmanovich all by himself, and it was wide open, but all went for naught because of that penalty.
Interference is the indication. And now North Canton needs 25 yards for a first down. That can take some steam out of your attack. Reefer nonetheless goes back to the air. He's got Greg Fouts out there. Fouts breaks one tackle, dragged down around, I'll say about the 46-yard line of Louisville. Good pickup on the play, but nowhere near the first down.
Few words between Minster and Fouts as the third period draws to a close. And so the score is 6-12 in favor of the visiting Louisville Leopards. They are on top, but it is a long way from over. Another quarter left to play. And we will be back for that action in a moment, but first this.
Welcome to Nick's Place Top Chalet Restaurant. Here you will find intimate, relaxed dining in elegant surroundings. Located at the corner of Whipple Avenue and Everhard Roads, Nick's Place Top Chalet is in the heart of the Belden Village area. You'll enjoy the personal, fast, friendly service by our large staff and live entertainment to set the mood for a memorable evening. Enjoy that special night on the town with family and friends in a warm, unique atmosphere. That's Nick's Place Top Chalet.
Recent reports reveal that many interested car buyers are once again turning their attention to larger automobiles. And while that may well be true, Jim Edwards, general manager at Tom Edwards Ford, says that he can meet the needs of all of his customers, and he's particularly well stocked in the economy line.
Denny, right now we have a 1982 Escort. We have 11 of them in stock. We've had many customers come in regarding the economy question. We've had many come in and tell us that they're getting better than 40 miles per gallon on the open road.
How about the people who want a luxury car at a moderate price? Can you help them?
We sure can. What we've done, I've gone to Columbus and purchased many factory executive cars, well equipped with air conditioning and stereo, this type of equipment, at moderate prices. And therefore I can pass this price savings on to the customers.
Where can we find these cars?
Tom Edwards Ford, 500 North Chapel Street in Louisville.
Yoder's Marathon in Louisville is a full-service station. At Yoder's, service is the name of the game and has been for 3 generations over the last 4 decades. Located at 311 West Main in Louisville, Yoder's Marathon is certainly located for easy access and offers old-fashioned service and quality. Remember what it was like to have your windshield cleaned when you stopped for gas? Well, that service you can still find at Yoder's, in addition to tune-ups and other general auto maintenance. Yoder's Marathon in Louisville, service in a family tradition.
During the third quarter, Denny Hazen was thanking some of the people who helped bring this game into your homes. Here's a few more from the sidelines. We'd like to thank the Hoover Band Parents Association. They operate the concession stands here at the stadium, and they're headed up by Ted and Nancy Dahl. Also like to thank members of the North Canton Police Department who are ensuring our safety and security at tonight's game. The various ushers who have given their time, the fans here at the stadium, and of course you, our fans at home. Now back to Denny Hazen.
Thank you, Chris Popa. A thank you from you always puts a smile on everybody's face.
Back to the action, 3rd and 17, a wobbly pass, but a receiver out there. That's Paul Jeremiah. Jeremiah is short of the first down, however. About 5 yards short, in fact. Nice reception, but not quite enough yardage for the Vikings.
Don, I can't help but say it again. The thing that impresses me so much about this Reefer kid is how well he holds his composure under pressure.
Yes, you're right. And wasn't that an excellent throw? And the timing was perfect on it. You couldn't ask for anything any nicer than what that one was thrown. He has done very, very, very well.
An injured leopard just left the field.
Vikings call timeout now. We get a lot of letters at the station, and we like to respond to as many of them as we can. I got one this week that was unsigned, and normally we don't respond to that, but I thought it was of such a nature that I would respond to it over the air, asking us why we do not cover St. Thomas Aquinas, and questioning if perhaps it was because they are a Catholic school. Well, it was not because of that. In fact, we will be covering St. Thomas Aquinas later on October 15th when they play Timpkin. We'll be back right after this message.
Tom Lavery is where it's at.
This is the time of year to save at Fry Hardware and Supply, because right now Fry Hardware and Supply is celebrating the Glidden anniversary sale on famous spread satin wall paint. Only $9.99 a gallon, and that's $6 off the regular price. Now that is a bargain. Pick up a gallon of Glidden spread satin today at Fry Hardware and Supply, 950 South Main in North Canton. And Fry Hardware and Supply also has a complete kitchen and bath showroom, as well as plumbing, heating, and electrical supplies. Fry Hardware and Supply.
North Central Tire is overstocked. There's a mountain of tires to move, and prices are being drastically reduced. So come in now during the stockroom clearance and save on selected famous Goodyear tires. You can get the P155 ADR 13 Tiempo Black Wall for just $39, plus a $1.52 federal excise tax. Hurry to North Central Tire, now with 4 locations to serve you in Canton, North Canton, at the Millette Mall, and on Perry Drive. North Central Tire.
11 minutes, 53 seconds remain in the fourth quarter.
I think it's going to be short of the first down. What's that, Coach?
Have to measure. It appears as though it's very close, and take a measurement on it.
Very close to a first down.
Nice out pattern. A very nice out pattern. Timing was excellent again.
We're going to measure.
There will be a timeout for a measurement. Don is right. And of course, our view is blocked by a lot of the North Canton Viking players, so we really don't know where he went out of bounds.
The Leopards' offense primarily contained to the first half at this point. No real offense generated in the third period by the Leopards.
Don't have to tell you if it was long enough or not. Indication by the North Canton players there can tell you that. It is a first down.
Chris Popa.
Janik, who mentioned about a Louisville player down, and checked that out. It was number 20 of the Leopards, Mike Tesh. I'm told that Mike just had a cramp in his left bottom leg while he was on the field. He says he's going to be okay. It's a possibility that he'll return to the game, but they're trying to work the cramp out now, and we'll have to wait as to whether he goes back in the game.
Thank you, Chris Popa.
John Zuckel on that carry. Vikings operated first and 10. Zuckel got about 4 yards.
Howell and Kendall on the play for Louisville.
We'll bring up about second down and 5. Okay, Don, we've seen the passing game work so well for North Canton, and the ground game, well, it's been off and on. What do you think Ed Glass has in mind?
Well, you're in 4-down territory. I imagine he'll tighten things up a little more right here and throws only when he has to throw.
That's LaFont. Big gainer. He's close to the goal line. Out of bounds at about the 3. They're going to mark it at the 4, to be exact. Jerry LaFont, we heard a lot from him last week against Kenmore. Didn't hear a lot from him this week, but now he's starting to make his presence known.
Well, LaFont is kind of like a silent threat. He's not really a super big guy. He's a junior, weighs 160 pounds. He's as tough as nails, that's all, and he's just quicker than heck. I'll tell you, he rounds that turn, and it is just about all over.
North Canton had one touchdown taken away from them because of the penalty. You can be sure they don't want that to happen again. They're knocking on the door. First and goal at the 4. Reefer plows his way close to the goal line. It is a touchdown. Delayed indication. Finally, the official threw his hands up. We now have a tie ball game. I don't see any flags on this one, so this one's going to stay up on the scoreboard. Quarterback keeper, Mark Reefer from 4. And we're going to see the extra point attempt. Who's going to be kicking, Coach? Do you know who the kicker is?
Yes. Andy Logan, the sophomore, has come in to kick this one. I will be the holder.
Logan, of course, is related to the other Logans in the football family at North Canton.
Yes, he certainly is. He's a sophomore, and he's making the attempt for the extra point. A lot of pressure on the young man, and it's good. It's good.
You called it right, Don. North Canton, for the first time in this game, takes the lead with 10:56 left to play here in the 4th period. North Canton, on that extra point by Andy Logan, goes up on top, 13-12. And the fans certainly are fired up here in North Canton. We hear a lot about momentum in college and high school sports. How important is momentum at this point in the game, in this big game, Coach?
Yes, it certainly has turned around at this stage, Chris. Now, a lot will depend upon this first series after the kickoff. If Louisville is able to get a good return and get good field position and break up a couple first downs, it could be the difference. Now, this is a very important series, obviously, for both football squads.
We'll wait and see what happens. Paul Farah back once again for the Leopards. He had an excellent return at the beginning of the ball game. If he can repeat that, Louisville will be back in business.
We talked about Jerry LaFont. We've talked about Mark Reefer. That one will go down in the record books as a TD by Mark Reefer, but you got to really remember that it was LaFont who set that up with a big gainer once again down the right side, and he runs those sidelines so well.
And you've got to give a lot of credit to the North Canton offensive line. Farah does get the ball. He cuts across to the right side now. Another good return. Not quite as good as his one that opened up the game, but still, it gets him across the 30-yard line, and that's where Louisville will begin.
That last series that led to the North Canton touchdown was a great series called by the North Canton coaching staff. They were 2nd and 25 with loss of down on the offensive interference. And when you're 2nd and 25 and come back and still pick up the first down and go on in the score, you certainly have to give them a great deal of credit.
The first Federal League contest for both teams. So both coaches are looking at this as perhaps the Federal League title game. Gene Greminger once again gets a lot of ground, about 9 yards. He'll be shy of the first down. He'll be shy by about 2. They spot it just across the 40-yard line. Make it about the 41.
Chris, we expected this to be an exciting ball game, and it has proved to be just that.
Wally Kendall into the contest for Louisville. Minster and Borkwin are the wide outs. Matty hands off to the first man through. That's Larry Howell, number 41 now in the backfield. Seen a lot of action by Mike Tesh. I think he may have been the injured player. Mike Tesh was the one who was carried off with the injury. I didn't want to make a call on it because I wasn't sure. So Larry Howell has taken his place.
Well, Tesh went off the field with a leg cramp. They're trying to get that leg cramp straightened out, and as they do, I'm sure we'll see him back.
This one goes to Greminger. Greminger breaks away from one tackle, gets about 2 or 3 yards. John Stroya also in on the tackle, and Steve Swinehart was there as well.
Greminger, the ball carrier, Swinehart on the stop for the Vikings. A gain of 2, second down and 8.
Clock continues to roll. This is the last quarter of play. Exactly 9 minutes now, less than 9 minutes and counting. Minster and Borkwin both come out wide to the right side. To make that the left side, excuse me. The pitch, going to Greminger. Greminger cuts upfield. He's going to be short of a first down by about 5 yards, and it'll bring on a third down situation. Chris Ship's in there, and we have a Louisville player down.
And he's grabbing his knee. Ray Payne, our official in the press box, tells us it looks like a cramp. We'll get a report for you, and we'll let you know. At this point, we can't even see who that player is because he is being well covered by administrators of medical treatment from both the Louisville bench and the North Canton bench. It looks to be number 12, which would be Steve Berkwin. That would be a heavy loss for the Leopards if that's the case.
Dan Demian getting us right in on the action. See how that injured young man is doing. Nice camera work. Player is still down.
Don just mentioned a moment ago with Steve Berkwin, a starter in both ways for the Leopards, and Mike Tesh, a starter both ways for the Leopards. Both of them out in a critical situation like this, down by 1 with 8:36 on the clock. That is bad news for the Leopards.
It is Steve
Well,
Berkwin.
Mark had an older brother who played at Louisville not too many years ago, just 2 or 3 years ago, Chris Berkwin. He was a quarterback and was a very good athlete, also an excellent baseball player. And it's a shame when you see any young man injured and when they have to leave the ball game. This is 2 defensive backs you have out for Louisville right now, and a running back and a wide receiver, replacements in there. So let's see what happens.
Rodak and Minster are now out wide to the right. Libertor brought into play. 3rd down and 5. Pitch goes out to Greminger. Greminger cuts upfield, and he's not going to get the first down. They're going to be shy by about 2 yards.
Prior to the game, Paul Starkey talked about his superiorities, and he mentioned that he felt that their attribute this year was defense. It looks at this point that the Leopards are going to have to punt, and they will depend on their defense to try and stop the Vikings so they could get another chance and not allow the Vikings to run away with another score at this point. 7 minutes, 54 seconds and counting.
It's a 1-point ball game. North Canton 13, Louisville 12. The Leopards jumped out on top, and then North Canton came storming back. Now they're going to get the ball. Nice high kick this time. No receivers back there. They're going to let it bounce. It's going to be down inside the 10-yard line. Coach, why no attempt of a return?
Well, I think, number one, there's always that possibility of faking it when you're in that field position that they were in. And I don't think they wanted to take a chance in that respect, but also you have the chance of the fumble back there, and I think they were just playing safe and hoping for a decent roll. And they did get a little backspin on the ball, so the field position could have been a lot worse. They're inside the 10, but still, that's better than being on the 2 or 3. Let's see if they can come out of that hole.
Okay, thanks, Don. 1st and 10, about the 9-yard line. Going to stay on the ground for now. LaFont trying the right side. We see a flag down. Don says it's either holding or clipping. We'll have to wait to see what the official indication is.
You are watching WJAN, Channel 17 in Canton, Ohio.
There you see LaFont. Once again, not a big guy, but certainly very strong. And North Canton is going to be charged once again with an illegal block. And we've got another Leopard on the field. It's a physical ball game, and the physical game is showing up in the form of injuries. We got Berkwin out, we got Tesh out.
Mike Tesh came back in for one play. Mike Tesh came back in for one play, and it looks like that leg is cramped up again on him. He's having a little difficulty out there. I'm sure he'll attempt to stay in there, but he may have to be removed from the game at least for a play again because of the timeout injury. But you have half the distance, and so therefore the ball is sitting on about the 5-yard line. It'll be first and about 15, the North Canton Hoover Vikings.
You mentioned the Leopards out of the ball game. We must not forget Mr. Feller, Ron Feller, number 30 for the Vikings, who left the game in the first half with a knee injury, and we hope it's not serious. However, he certainly is out of the ball game for the night, and they made a doctor's appointment for Tuesday for Ron Feller. And again, our best wishes and our prayers are with him. We hate to see anybody get injured.
The illegal blocking penalty moves it back half the distance to the goal, so it will be first and 14 when play resumes.
You know, it's an awkward situation right now. You're sitting back there where you have to be careful what you do call. You run anything wide and a linebacker shoots or a lineman shoots, you could have that 2-point safety. The North Canton Hoover Vikings are really in a little bit of a precarious situation right now. They scored 13-12, 2 points. You cannot afford to have or give away. Therefore, it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do to make sure that they stay out of that end zone.
First and 14 for the Vikings. The ball resting on the 5-yard line, their own 5-yard line. Their offense must answer the challenge, and Louisville's defense must stop them.
Fly right up the middle just to get some breathing room. Griefer on the same play that got him a touchdown earlier in the game. It'll be second and 11. Clock continues to roll. 6:45, 6:44. Each team has been able to score twice, but as Don Hurler has mentioned on several occasions, kicking game is so important, and it is the North Canton kicking game that has made the difference. Andy Logan with that extra point. That's where we stand right now. Zuckel breaks out for some running room. He's not up to the first down yard marker, so it will be third down.
He's not up to the first down yard marker at this point, Chris. However, the offense of the Vikings is able to move that football. We're happy to report number 12, Steve Berkwood, coming back onto the field for the Leopards. So apparently that was not a serious injury, and we are grateful for that.
Third down and 6 situation for North Canton. They're going to stay on the ground. They go to LaFont. LaFont is plowed under. Number 39, that is John Paquile once again. Well, first I called him plaster, then I said he was plowed under. Not a good night.
Well, he was a little slow getting up, and I didn't even mean to laugh at that. I wasn't laughing at the fact that he was slow getting up, simply your comment there. LaFont, I believe, had the wind knocked out of him, and he's just tough as nails, and a fine, outstanding player for these Vikings.
Big hit by John Paquile forces the fourth down situation, just what Paul Starkey wanted. Greg Fouts back to punt now, about his own 3-yard line. 5:15 left to play. Plenty of time for another Louisville score. Long kick, driving kick. Rodak gets the ball at his own 44-yard line. Tries the right side, doesn't find much. North Canton swarms on him before he can get to midfield. So the ball will be spotted at the Louisville 49-yard line. That's where North Canton will have to operate. Certainly not bad field position, but North Canton did a good job in pushing Louisville back.
Well, the Leopards are kind of running out of time, too. This is the time they've got to put something together if they're going to do it. And even 5 minutes on the clock at this point right now. And now the roles are reversed. North Canton must hold if they are to win. Louisville must come through if they are to win.
Minster and Borkwin go out wide to the left. The handoff will go to Greminger. Up the middle, he doesn't get anything. A pile of North Canton Hoover Vikings medium. John Stroya was in the middle of it. Rich Rhodes was also there. They credit him with about a half a yard. It'll be second, 9.5. Clock continues to roll, less than 4.5 minutes now. Mentioned before coming into this contest, Louisville had a proven defense, a lot of returning players from last year's Federal League Championship team, but it was the offense that lost 9 starters. It was the offense that really had to prove itself, and now they find the game on the line. The junior quarterback back to pass. Good pressure, and there's a sack registered by the North Canton defense. There you see Rich Rhodes in on the play. John Stroya was there. Steve Swinehart was close behind, and of course John Zuckel in on that tackle as well.
Chris Popa, your report from the sideline.
Denny, here's a quick report on the 2 Louisville players injured. The first guy down, number 12, Steve Berkland. According to Doc Violan for the Leopards, it was a tendon injury. He says it's nothing serious. They have the ice on the knee and working it out. But according to the doc, just a tendon injury, nothing serious for Berkland. As far as number 20, Mike Teschka, as you'll recall, not too long ago, he had a cramp in his left leg. This time around, according to the doc, it was a muscle cramp in his right leg, in the calf. So Tesh is having problems with both legs tonight. He's sitting it out right now. Back to you, Denny.
Chris tipped on that interception. North Canton gets the ball back. So the defense comes through for the Hoover Vikings. We have a flag, and we'll have to wait to see what that indication is.
With this change of possession, we are going to take a timeout and return in just a moment.
Schumacher Real Estate offers this large brick ranch on 2 beautiful wooded lots in Louisville School District. With 1,971 square feet of living space, the home has 2 fireplaces and rooms large enough for king-size furniture. A rear elevated porch overlooks the very best of what Mother Nature has to offer. Attractive financing is available, and now is the time. For more information, or if you're moving and want a professional sales staff to offer the maximum in interest and exposure for your current residence, call Schumacher Real Estate at 875-4222.
Recent reports reveal that many interested car buyers are once again turning their attention to larger automobiles. And while that may well be true, Jim Edwards, general manager at Tom Edwards Ford, says that he can meet the needs of all of his customers, and he's particularly well stocked in the economy line.
Denny, right now we have a 1982 Escort. We have 11 of them in stock. We've had many customers come in regarding the economy question. We've had many come in and tell us that they're getting better than 40 miles per gallon on the open road.
How about the people who want a luxury car at a moderate price? Can you help them?
We sure can. What we've done, I've gone to Columbus and purchased many factory executive cars, well equipped with air conditioning and stereo, this type of equipment, at moderate prices. And therefore I can pass this price savings on to the customers.
Where can we find these cars?
Tom Edwards Ford, 500 North Chapel Street in Louisville.
A lot of homeowners insurance doesn't cover damage to dwellings from paint spills. Nationwide's Elite Homeowners Insurance does. A local Nationwide agent can tell you about the other mishaps it covers too. For only a few dollars a month, it can save you a lot. Part of Nationwide's blanket protection for your family or business.
Nationwide is on your side.
Your Nationwide agent in the Canton area is Lloyd Irons. Call Lloyd at 452-9865. Also in Canton, Clark Candle at 452-9854. And in North Canton, Douglas Candle at 497-2822.
Another flag. Looks like it might be a delay of game. Yes, that is the case. North Canton has taken over. 2:42 left to play. The clock stops on that penalty. Interception there by the North Canton defense. They did a good job in holding back Louisville and forcing them to go to the air on a 3rd and long.
You might explain the field position at this point, too. Just prior to that break, there was a penalty on the return of that interception. The penalty was clipping. The ball moved back 15 yards, and now the Vikings take a delay of game. 2:39 on the clock, and they want to take as long as they can.
LaFont tries the right side. Gets about 7. He's up around across the 45-yard line of Louisville. And on the run, the clock will continue to roll. Don, do you think Coach, do you think Ed Glass is going to try to keep it on the ground to keep that clock moving?
No question about it. He will not put the ball in the air at this time. He'll take the 3. If he doesn't get the first down, then he'll punt the football. He will not put it in the air.
What can Paul Starkey do to force Ed Glass' hand? Anything?
Well, Paul Starkey may call timeout after this play if it isn't a first down. We'll see what happens.
Under 2 minutes to play now. Reefer's back. He's going to hang on to it. He takes the loss. Reefer drops behind the 50-yard line, but the clock continues to roll.
Don, hindsight is always better than...
Hey, I told you he wouldn't put it in the air. Yes, he did call for a pass play at the time in off when he was sacked on the play. I really am very surprised. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm saying I am surprised that he would, because you are trying to run that clock out. Of course, he still ran it out, the fact he didn't get it off. And I would imagine he probably instructed Mark Reefer, make sure you have that receiver or do not unload the ball. And Mark did exactly as he should have done. He ate the ball, and it forced Louisville to call the timeout. And now I would guess that they'll run one more and then punt the ball. Of course, you always have that chance of the punt being blocked. And at this stage, on the punt, Louisville has no choice but to attempt to block it.
A very important announcement. Oh, boy.
These games mean so much to so many people. Both teams playing their heart out. The big game of the year, for some of these guys, maybe the big game of their life, really. And it means a great deal to both.
The clock shows exactly 1 minute and 45 seconds. Big third down situation. North Canton needs about 13 or 14, but they're going to keep it on the ground. Jerry LaFont fakes the reverse, stays inbounds, gets close to the 45, pick up of about 5, will not be anywhere near close enough for the first down, and Louisville calls another timeout. The clock stops at 1:35.
Chris, you said the key word there. He stays in bounds. It would have been very easy. LaFont likes to run that side. It would have been very easy to run out of bounds when you got people hanging all over you. But wisely, he stayed in bounds to keep the clock moving, and once again, that forced Louisville into the situation where they had to call the timeout. Be interesting to see at this point, since the ball is already in Louisville territory, whether or not North Canton will punt it away, or whether they'll go ahead and run a play and try and use up some more time and force another timeout.
It'll be punted, Denny. There's no question about that. And I imagine that they will keep the line there to make sure that they do give him added protection. The ball game is not over. Many games have been won in the last minute and 35 seconds. Both teams have played very, very well, without question. Now, we mentioned prior to the game that mistakes would be a factor prior to the game, and the breaks, and making the breaks. At this time, it reverts back to the punt that was partially blocked as being a big factor in the game. Let's see what happens on this punt.
Rodak and Farah deep. Bounce to punt. Gets off another nice punt. They're going to let it bounce, and it goes into the end zone. Bounces about the 2-yard line, gets a good roll. So Louisville will take over at their own 20-yard line. 1:28 left to play in this one.
Well, the Louisville receivers wisely ran away from that ball because the ball actually hit on about the 6-7-yard line. And you never know the way a football is going to bounce. It may have come back, but they had hoped that it would go into the end zone, which did two things. It brought the ball out to the 20 and also stopped the clock. And the clock is so extremely precious at this point. Right now it shows 1 minute, 29 seconds, and it all rests on this last minute and 29.
Borquin and Minster are wide once again. They're going to have to pass. Matty trying to set up the screen pass. He's got Greminger out there, but he only gets a couple. Greminger gets out to about the 23. It'll be second down.
I have noticed just recently that Coach Starkey had been in a wide slot or twins most of the ball game. Here recently, going to the throwing game, he has gone somewhat to the pro set. Now they're back into the twins again. Let's see on second down.
Borquin and Minster both go out. Matty's looking that way, and he is sacked. Chris chipped in on that big sack. Nice play by number 85, 197-pound senior for North Canton, and he just plowed under. I'll use that terminology again because that's exactly appropriate. He plowed under Brian Matty.
North Canton is definitely fired up, and it's showing out on the field.
That is the final timeout for Louisville.
Don just tells me it's the final timeout for the Leopards. 40 seconds left. Well, what do you think Coach Starkey's thinking right now?
Well, he has very little choice to either throw long or else to come out with something tricky, such as a flea flicker. Yet they're not going to have a lot of time to get the ball off because you're going to get some pressure. And I'm sure that the defensive backs of North Canton are going to be very deep. They're willing to give them whatever short ones they want to try to protect from the long one. And you'll probably see a type of a prevent defense at this time. It's a very difficult situation, but like I said earlier, stranger things have happened. And with 40 seconds on the clock, you could have pass interference once or twice. You could have other things that take place on the play, a lateral or something fancy, but they had to pull all stops now. And again, it's a difficult situation, but we'll see. You never know.
40 seconds on the clock. The Louisville Leopards, favored by many this year to repeat as Federal League champions. Of course, those same people who said Louisville should repeat also said that North Canton would be in the thick of it. Well, if things stay the way they are right now, North Canton will be in the driver's seat.
You have trips on the far side.
3 wide receivers out to the right. Matty's looking up there, throws out for Borkwin. Looks like Borkwin's got the first down. He does indeed. Just enough for the first down.
The clock stops just long enough to move the chains, so Louisville will call their play very quickly because 32 seconds remain at this point, and they're back ready to snap that ball.
Ball's at the 33-yard line. Now 29 seconds and counting. Matty has to go to the air.
Ball out of bounds or in and out pattern in order to stop the clock. At that point was a very wise thing to do. The wide receiver ran an out pattern, and they did throw it out to him or beyond him for a out of bounds to stop the clock. Now they can get things back together again in the huddle, stopping the clock with 24 seconds to go. It is now 2nd and 10, and they'll get back into their throwing game, probably throwing long again.
Once again, we remind you that this Saturday night, the 11th of September, we are going to be in Alliance for the Alliance-Timken game, and it's all over in North Canton.
It looks like it could be all over. North Canton recovers.
Quarterback was hit by Steve Swinehart, the end, from the blind side. He fumbled the ball, coughed up the ball. North Canton recovered, and folks, your ball game is just about over.
Indeed, that is the case. 19 seconds remain. North Canton has the ball. 1st and 10 on that fumble recovery. So the score at 13-12 in favor of the Vikings looks like it's going to stay that way.
The distance is short between North Canton and Louisville, but it will be a long ride home on the bus tonight for the Louisville Leopards, as North Canton now takes possession of the ball and simply watches the clock run out. 3, 2, 1, and it's all over. The difference being the conversion of an extra point. It's history in North Canton as the Vikings win. The final score, North Canton 13 and Louisville 12. The scoring came first for the Leopards in the first quarter when Gene Grimminger ran 2 yards around right tackle. It was 6-0. The point was no good. That was an important point. In the second period, it was Brian Matty, 1 yard on a keeper. They attempted to throw for 2. The throw was no good, and it was 12-0 at halftime. With 1 minute and 12 seconds remaining in the third quarter, Jerry LaFont ran around the left side, scored a touchdown. It was called back because of blocking. However, 12 seconds later, after another carry by LaFont around the right side on the opposite end of the field, it was Mark Reefer who scored, and now it's history. We'd like to thank those people who made this possible technically for us for this game tonight. Our director, Mike Tonjes, our technical director, Jeff Poland. Our announcers tonight, myself, Denny Hazen, Chris Jadek, Chris Popa, and of course, Don Hertler. Our statistician, my wife, Marge Hazen. Technical assistance from Denny Hazen Jr., Diana Klepper, and Todd Henderson. Our cameramen, we appreciate it, and electronic graphics by Lisa Hazen. This has been an image video production in cooperation with Channel 17. Thanks for watching. Good day, good night, and God bless.